Okay, I've seen over 70 films from 2009. I've seen a lot of bad movies in my life, but this is the first time I've ever used the word sloppy to describe someone's directing. This is a perfect movie for those who know enough about movies to like films that definitely aren't directed by Michael Bay, but who also don't really understand why they like a movie. It seems as if most people like this film because they think they're supposed to. I don't know, like, try to fill me in. Forced and unnecessary edits. Yes, I know I'm using the Red Letter Media formula. You don't have to tell me that. I love his shit. I'm gonna do it like that. So, eat my horse cock. Oh, look at all the pretty CGI edits they made in the movie to reflect something about the character. I'll admit that some of these edits correlated with how the character is feeling at a certain point in the story, but some of them are just kind of thrown in there and don't really have any relation to anything, and it looks really stupid and forced.
Oh look, it's so artsy, I don't really understand it, but it must be so ingenious that it's going right over my head.
On top of the random CG just for the sake of there being CG, there's R&B for the sake of there being R&B. If I wanted to be drowned in R&B, I would watch all of Tyler Perry's movies back to back. It doesn't add anything to the scene, but seems like the director couldn't help but put his iPod playlist in the movie like any other amateur in the film industry. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call.
Obvious mistakes.
Okay, I'm sure all of you hate me right now because I've only pointed out little nitpicky things about how I don't like the CG, how I don't like the music choices, but now I will get to some actual things that are non-refutable in terms of making a movie not as good as it should have been. Even after noticing obvious continuity errors within the first 5 minutes of the film, I still wanted to give this movie a chance. Usually I wouldn't even give a rat's ass about continuity errors in movies as part of my overall rating, but these were errors that wouldn't even require one to reshoot the scene to fix. All they had to do was cut a shot less than a second earlier than they did, and she wouldn't have slumped her backpack down her shoulder and then have it back up in the next angle. Like there wasn't even any dialogue going over top of it or anything. These mistakes were nothing but the result of sloppy editing, sloppy directing, and a sloppy script. Hey, the teacher misspelled the word requirements. Well, let's take a moment and look at the script if you're wondering what sort of problems I had with it. The script is based on the book Push by Sapphire, and I was told that the book was based on several stories of young people living in terrible neighborhoods, and that would actually explain a lot because this is the most retarded sequence of events to ever take place for one person. Yes, I understand that unlikely things happen in movies. If movies were made about the characters that had nothing happen to them, then it wouldn't be entertainment, it wouldn't be a movie. With that being said, the way that the events take place in movies is all but extraneous. Every event was thrown in there with no other purpose than to make the character seem as innocent as possible and everyone around her seem as cruel and malicious as possible. Let's have a scene where everyone in her class laughs at her weight. Let's have a scene that we'll keep flashing back to because you're too stupid to remember, where she's getting raped by her dad. What I don't like about that flashback scene is that they honestly just used it anytime she was sad, period. It basically was inadvertently making all of her other problems seem superficial, because anytime during the movie where she was sad, it would just flash back to the sex scene as if nothing else matters that's going on around her. Okay, I'm gonna stop it right here for a second and pull a quick preemptive self-defense. I am not trying to say that we shouldn't feel bad for rape victims, and I'm not trying to say that it doesn't play a large portion into their life and shape who they are and every experience that they've had. All you have to do is not add such out-of-this-world sound effects that make it impossible to actually be able to relate to the images on the screen, and not just flash back to it 30,000 times. Just show it once and have it horrible and make it stick in our heads like it did the actual character, and then maybe it would be effective. I'm sure a lot of people have gone through any of these situations. They might hold this movie very close to their heart and relate to it and feel for it. As soon as a good movie comes out with an underprivileged girl who's tortured and innocent, I'll be telling everybody to go see it. But until then, this movie sucks. Stop pretending it doesn't suck. Shut up. The only reason I'm actually defending myself right now is because someone went up to me after they saw my Facebook review of this on Flickster and they were like, hey, be careful what you say about this movie because you might, you know, look like the bad guy. You might look like you hate black people or people who are overweight or people who are victims of rape. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make it any less of a bad movie. It's still a bad movie. It's not like the worst movie of all time, but it's still a bad movie. And everybody thinks it's great. And they're like, well, yeah, but thinking it's a bad movie might make you look like a bad guy. I'm like, I guess I finally understand why everybody likes this movie.
Jesus fuck, I need some sun-kissed orange drink right now.
Think that was random?
False!
This movie attacks your subconscious bluntly and repeatedly by showing you images of sun-kissed orange soda over and over and over again. I would like you to look at how much time has passed in this YouTube video starting exactly now, and that's when the clips start. And in each of these clips, there is always a clearly visible sun-kissed orange soda. I'm actually, struggling to, think of things to say during this whole orange soda breakdown, because there's so much fucking sun-kissed orange soda. And if you look in this scene, it actually appears out of nowhere and then disappears again. Like all of that cut to her and cut back to the kid and cut back to her, back to the kid and back to her. That was all part of the movie. That wasn't my cut. It's like they want your subconscious to stay focused on it or something. It's very, very weird. But yeah, so much sun-kissed orange soda. I fucking called up my friend while I was in the middle of watching this movie, and don't worry, it wasn't in the theaters. I'm not stupid. And I said, hey, bitch, go buy me some orange pop right now, because I need some orange soda. And now the song's gonna change because this one ended. Anyway, we call it pop here in Canada, but I've been saying soda, so that might be confusing. All of these have Sunkissed Orange in it, but I made sure that he did not buy Sunkissed brand. We bought Crush Orange instead, because I hate advertisements, and so should you, because this is ridiculous. I don't think I saw one other product advertised in this entire movie, and now that we're almost near the end of this, I want you to take a look at your YouTube time right now. This movie basically had Sunkissed grasping for your attention for almost 2 whole minutes of screen time. And that's not including the ones I missed. Yes.
You might not have noticed these at first, but your brain did.
I don't think I've ever seen such blatant product placement within a movie since the Head & Shoulders product placement in the movie Evolution.
Wow. Fighting the alien menace can be tough work.
And so is keeping your hair clean, shiny, and dandruff-free.
So it's a good thing that we always keep a healthy supply of
Head & Shoulders around the house.
You know what, just fucking pause this video, go buy some Orange Pop, and come back. But make sure that it's not Sunkissed brand. Make their rival, fucking soda brands compete. Because I hate advertisements. Except for mine, go buy my CD.
More obvious mistakes.
Okay, back on track. We then have a scene where she orders some fried chicken and then runs off with this bucket full of stolen crispy goodness. The employees at the store see her as she's doing this and actually begin to run after her out of the building.
Oh, hell no, she didn't. Get her ass.
And it shows a shot of her running about, a quarter mile an hour down the sidewalk as she's gobbling down the contents of the bucket. And I'm thinking, how can she eat and run at the same time? And won't the employees catch up to her as she's only made it like 5 feet out of the building and it clearly shows them start to run after her? Well, apparently not, because it kind of just cuts to her walking down a hallway in school with the chicken later. Like, what? Were we supposed to assume that this guy washing the windows was the only person that worked there or something? Or you can see the guy in the background who was putting shit in the deep fryer, actually start to chase after her. Look at that. He told it zoom right in the background. I guess they couldn't really think of a realistic way to get her out of the situation, so instead of shooting it so that the employees didn't notice her, they just kind of skipped to the next scene. Maybe she's got super speed whenever she's off camera.